Hi, welcome to Roughneck Movies. I'm Captain Jim, and with me always is
Paul.
Paul,
Psychic Paul?
Psychic Paul.
Oh man, is that going to be our intro?
I want to talk today to you about the Snyder Cut because the internet's abuzz about the Snyder Cut. The Justice League didn't fare so well in cinemas. Zack Snyder has a dodgy reputation with people loving but critics hating his work. We had a great Man of Steel film. We had Batman vs Superman. Some people liked it, some people hated it. I think unanimously people hated the Justice League, and now Zack Snyder is doing it. I still don't believe it's real, because so many people say, oh, it's real, I've seen it. Actors saying, I've seen it. And then we had a bunch of people saying, no, it doesn't exist. It's just a marketing scam. All of a sudden, it's real, it's being made, it's being released, but then Zack Snyder needs 30 to 40 million to finish it.
That's my thing.
How does a film exist if you've not finished it?
Oh yeah, I've seen it and it's brilliant. Except I just need another 40 million, please.
40 million. He's probably doing up his house. He's probably doing his house.
Yeah. What do I need? Oh, I could do with a hot tub actually. What you over there? What do you want? You want a sandwich? Okay, let's chuck that in.
Yeah, he called Ty Pennington Extreme Makeover Home Editions, but they wouldn't come. They wouldn't move for the bus. So he's going to have to go to Warner Brothers to pay for it.
But the rumour is that it's 4 hours long.
4 hours long, yeah. Well, the reason it was only 2 hours long in the first place is because one of the problems with Batman v Superman was it was 2.5 hours long. They did a DVD Blu-ray extended cut. It was over 3 hours long, and no one had time for it. No one wanted to sit for a film that long, especially not in cinemas. So they got Joss Whedon to cut it down. And the whole Joss Whedon thing is a real... I think you said to me earlier it was a real funny one because obviously he went through the biggest tragedy. He lost a child. No one should live through that, and he walked away from the film. But apparently that wasn't the step that made him leave. Apparently Warner Brothers had already interjected later to get Snyder away from the picture. Is that right?
Yeah, see, that's the thing that I find really strange, because now the whole narrative is, okay, he faced this tragedy, and it is, awful what happened to his kid. And they walked away, and Joss Whedon jumped in like the hero and saved the day. Actually, at the time, the narrative was nothing like that. I mean, the tragedy that happened to Snyder happened around 6 months before he got booted from the film.
Right.
And actually, the big rumour was that the execs didn't like the dark tone. Even though you've signed up Snyder, you've bought into his vision, and you know it's going to be dark and gritty. I mean, nothing about any of his back catalogue would say any different. Yet they decided they wanted something a bit more Marvel-ish. So
Marvel-ish, yeah.
What you do, you get rid of Snyder, and then you bring in the guy who did the Avengers to lighten the mood and bring in a bit of humour. Let's make that
Get
happy.
rid of the dark.
Let's make Batman funny. Because everybody wants funny Batman, right?
Well, he kills so many people in Batman v Superman, which I don't have a problem with, because you build up this dark Batman. He's beaten up the Joker. He's knocked his teeth out. Hasn't he got Robin's armour? Robin's costume covered in ha-ha, jokes on you or something like that, because his best friend's been killed. He's been through the round. He's come out the other side, and he's a changed man from the Batman we used to know, which was a great interpretation, because we've had so many Batman films before. And they developed this cool Batman, and let's face it, he was probably the highlight of that film.
I think so, yeah. I think actually Batfleck is, I think he's a brilliant interpretation of Batman. And I think that's where it really was disappointing, because Batman vs Superman, you know my opinions, I'm not the biggest fan in the world. However, I really liked genuinely the direction that they're going. But then you take it to Justice League, and suddenly you've got him cracking wise. Like, oh, so what's your superpower, Batman? I'm rich. Oh, like, no, that is not the same character that we had in Batman vs Superman, where it didn't matter if there was a 1% chance that this guy could. Do you know that line?
It was great though, but the thing is, they developed this character, and we had a 3-part arc. We had Man of Steel, we've got Batman v Superman, and we're going to get the Justice League, which would carry on the sort of that dark series of films. It was going to be the Snyder trilogy, and then he would hand it over to whoever else wanted to interpret the DC universe. Another thing that I really found quite funny, you see these pictures of Darkseid, and you think to yourself, is that really? Did they get that far? Did they do the effects on Darkseid? It looks a little bit unrendered to me, like he's just whipped up this picture and said, this is what I was going to do, and it isn't actually the real thing. It's almost a... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was just a little bit too far away, and also when other people say, but that doesn't look like the Darkseid I know, and the quick response was, oh yeah, but that's when he's younger. For me, it feels like this is a way to get people onto HBO Max.
Yeah, it is.
Because that's what's happening. I mean, this isn't going back into cinemas. They're going to spend $40 million to make the cut that exists an actual watchable movie, and yet it's purely for a subscription service. So it's to get people into there. What about then, though? So you mentioned Darkseid, and that's a really good point, but we haven't seen Darkseid in the film. Now, rumour was that actually towards the end of the film, when Steppenwolf is defeated, Darkseid comes down, and we would have seen him. So that's kind of cool, but we don't know that. But what about Steppenwolf himself? Because the Steppenwolf that we got in the Justice League film was not the Steppenwolf that we saw at the end of Batman vs Superman.
That's right,
because
the continuity was different.
Well, yeah, because that creature looked like, I think I described it to you as that it looked like a centaur covered in knives. Do you know what I mean?
There was a photograph that came out afterwards with Aquaman stabbing him in the back.
Jason Momoa
Stabbing him in the back with his trident, and you could see him in the full picture, and you could see Wonder Woman in the background. And the rumour was, after he stabs him, Wonder Woman slices off his head, it rolls through the boom tube, and then it rolls through into a different realm where Darkseid's foot lands on his head. We've got Darkseid's appearance. But Snyder said, this is what I was going to do, yet the design of the Steppenwolf in there is the same as the final version that we had in the Justice League, which makes me think this picture was made afterwards. It's a composited image. Basically, I'm glad the Snyder Cut's coming out. I don't think it ever really existed. I hope that it leads to another Batman film, because what I would like to see is a Justice League film part 2 with Darkseid. We have that dark future with Batfleck again. I know he said he won't come back, but then so did Henry Cavill, and now he's agreed to come back, at least for minor cameos in the DC universe. This Batman is old. They already established an old Batman. They wanted the Dark Knight style Batman, the gritty, the beaten down, the given up on hope for Gotham, let's just kill the bad guys. Have him die, continue with our Justice League that's current, and maybe bring in Batman of the future. Everyone loves that Batman.
The rumour was that actually they were building up to some sort of flashpoint.
Yeah.
So actually, Flash, that was why in Batman vs Superman they had the time travel element, and they were building up to the idea that, they purposefully had an old Batman, and then they would reboot it in the future with some younger, less experienced person. I don't know if Batfleck will.
Could the Robert Pattinson one be part of the DC EU?
I'd be disappointed if it was. Here's one though. So in terms of the like 35 million that they're going to spend on reshoots, how much of that do you think will be spent on
removing his moustache? Yeah. But final thoughts. Snyder Cut. I am looking forward to seeing it. I think that it's bullshit. I don't think it exists. I think they're making something that they've preached existed.
Here's one question though, just before it goes.
Go on then.
What if it's really bad?
Well, worse than what's well.
No.
That will be it. Henry Cavill won't come back. It's dead in the water.
What if it is worse than the film we already have? And actually, everything we were told previously, Whedon came in and saved the film, is what lots of people were saying at the time, and it was still abysmal. What if what we eventually get is utter dog shit? Actually, do you know what I want? This is what I want from this movie. I think they should go the opposite way. Don't try to fix it. Give me all the stuff and just really make it look almost intentional. Like, why the hell did they get rid of Henry Cavill's mustache? While he was in the grave, he grew a mustache.
Why can't
Superman
have
just
a mustache?
Go with it. Yeah, and then we can get a lovely scene where he's using his laser eyes to give himself a shave at the end.
You can't see your own mustache.
That's how he shaves. You know this?
No.
Yeah, because
he's not bouncing off a mirror or something.
Because Superman can't use a normal razor. He can't use shears or a lawnmower. He has to use his own laser beams from his eyes using a mirror to trim his own beard.
What do you reckon? Do you reckon the Snyder Cut will be good? Do you reckon it'll be bad? Do you reckon it's real, or do you reckon they're just fabricating it because they want to make money for HBO Max? Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like. Slap Paul. He deserves it. I'm Captain Jim.
And I'm Psychic Paul.
This is Roughneck Movies.